Yeah, Srikanth Yadlasa is the sales and marketing manager of Round Square, who got more than 10 plus years of experience in this field. So, I welcome you, sir, on behalf of School of Management Studies, University of Hyderabad. I hope this will be a great learning session for each and every one of us. So, over to you, sir.
Uh, Thank you, Mohammed. Thanks for the introduction. Let me just share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, good afternoon and warm welcome to one and all for the today's session. And thanks for the introduction. As Mohammed gave an introduction about myself, I am Srikanth Reddy Edla, and I'm working as a sales and marketing manager at Round Square. And does any of you aware of Round Square? Are you guys heard about Round Square? Have you?
Yes, sir.
So, do you
I think
have any friends working with Round Square at the moment?
yes, sir, we have our super senior working with Round Square.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, I'd like to spend a minute on talk about Round Square. Like, I would like to give you guys a brief introduction about Round Square, what Round Square is, and where we are located, and what we are doing at the moment. So, Round Square is a software services company. We offer services like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, and data analytics, blockchain. So currently we are located in Madhapur, Hyderabad. We also have our global offices in Australia and USA. We were supposed to open an office in UK, but unfortunately because of the COVID situation, we were unable to open at the moment. So we are planning to open it anytime soon. So we are definitely not a traditional software services company. So we picture ourselves as a problem solvers within AI, ML, and data services. So our team has guided many of our clients to bring their digital experiences to life, and our team and solutions are trusted and currently being used by uh, many of startups, from startups to the Fortune 500 companies. So we harness emerging technology to make the unimaginable possible. Yeah, and yeah, we have our team having experience of over 20 years, and our founders have experience more than 20 years, and they've been there and they've done that, and they've seen all of this, and they understand the industry very well, and that's how they came together. And yeah, that is about Round Square. And yeah, as you guys know, yeah, Lalita and Manoha, they both work with us, and they've been extremely well, and they're great people to work with me. And yeah, and, and this is my first ever experience interacting with students, so please bear with me or excuse me if I bore you or something. So you can interrupt me anytime if you feel bored. So, and by the way, today I'm not here to teach you anything. So I'm going to just share my experiences here about lead generation, sales and marketing, and other stuff. So I'm unable to see you guys actually. So how can I see you?
Sir, while
Are you following
if
me?
you have only one screen, then it will be tough for you.
So I just have to look at my presentation. Is it?
Yes, sir. Like if you
Okay.
have only one screen, we can present the screen itself.
Okay, no worries there. So yeah, before I move on to the session, can I ask you a few questions? Like all of you guys are currently studying sales and marketing.
Yes, sir. We are from the marketing department of management.
Okay. Can anybody know what is lead generation And yeah, anybody tell me what is lead? Do you all aware of this lead generation and lead and all of this terminology?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Like, yeah, I
Uh,
I assume that you guys have a basic understanding of it. So yeah, if someone can explain me what is lead, it's good for me.
Sir, lead is kind of getting data for the customers, or like if we have a product, what are
Mhm.
the type of customers that are using, like that has the scope of using our product, getting the
Mhm.
details or getting some contact, uh, that's called as a lead, sir.
Okay, yeah, I will explain more about lead and lead generation in our next slides. So yeah, so how many of you are actually willing to choose sales and marketing as a career? Are you guys interested? So how many of you like can you say the number? Like since I can't see you all in the screen, so all of
Yes,
you
sir.
are interested in or
Most of them are
most of
interested in the sales and marketing only.
yeah, that's good. So to enter into the sales and marketing career, you guys need to have a lot of patience, and that's my suggestion and out of my experiences. So please be patient. Okay, let's move on to the session. Today we will try to discuss and understand about the few basics of sales and marketing and majorly about lead generation. So the topics that I'm going to cover today is what is lead. Yeah, is one of you have already answered what is lead. So lead generation and lead generation process, importance of lead generation and cold calling, and what yeah. So you answered my question, what is lead, and I'm going to talk more about what is lead. So lead is nothing but information of a person or an organization that has expressed interest in our product or service. I'll give you an example here. Since we as a round square we are in IT services industry offering AI, ML, and digital services. Someone like who showed an interest in learning more about our ML services in detail, maybe that person or an organization consider as a lead. So we we consider that person or an organization as a lead. That is called lead. And we will talk about lead generation. So what is lead generation? So lead generation is a critical step in the sales and marketing process. We spoke about lead in our previous slide. And lead generation, like he was a stranger. A lead is a stranger person or an organization who shows interest, and now that interest we should be converting that stranger into a lead, and that lead we should convert into a customer. This process is called creating. This process is called lead generation process. And also I would say there are there might be thousands of prospects available, like maybe needed our services available, or maybe looking for our services out there in the world, and they may not know who we are. So to the process of approaching these strangers to talk about, to explain about our services in detail and convert them into a customer. This whole process is called as a lead generation process. Also, put it this way, like building a strong pipeline to generate revenue to the company. So this process of building a strong pipeline and converting them as a customers, and in return we get revenue. The all of this process is called lead generation. And again, the process of attracting prospects to buy our services or products is called lead generation process. Yeah, and we any questions on lead generation? Do you guys have any questions?
Sir, may we know what are the services and products that RoundSquare offers, and can we get some examples on how the lead generation takes place on each on a product?
Yes, I will explain you all of that in with examples in our next slide. So I'm going to definitely explain that. But before
Okay, sir.
we move on to the next slide, just understand the lead generation process, where it starts and where it ends. The process of attracting the stranger to convert them into a customer is called a lead generation. So yeah, does any of you know, or maybe all of you know, types of lead generation? Do you know how many types of lead generation is there in the market? Any of you?
Yes, sir.
So can you?
So, these are mostly cold mails, then LinkedIn message, then paid mail like Mailchimp, then consent content, then blogs, case studies.
Yeah. So you're mixing the process types of lead generation together. So I'm just asking, like, there are two types of lead generation that we do traditionally and even nowadays also. One is offline lead generation, which is called as non-digital lead generation, and the other one is online lead generation. So we will talk more about offline lead generation in later part of the presentation. Yeah. So online lead generation is also known as digital marketing. And many of you aware that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on, these kind of tools we use to promote our content, maybe ads, and also in Facebook we do social media marketing, LinkedIn we do social media marketing, and content marketing in LinkedIn, and video marketing on YouTube. So all of this comes under the online lead generation. So today since we are talking about lead generation via emailing, so we would like to focus more on lead generation, offline lead generation. So do you guys aware of what offline lead generation is? Since I have the slide showing to you, you can actually read on that. But any of you all are already aware of what is offline lead generation?
So it's like giving a seminar or conducting a conference, so and collecting information who are interested with that. And later we could who may be the prospective clients for our products or services.
Yeah, so yeah, there are types of offline lead generation. The most important and primary technique since the internet inception, this has been most successful working method for lead generation is cold emailing. And also there are different types of offline lead generation, as you said, setting up a booth and presenting it at a seminar, like I'm presenting a seminar to you, as like I'm presenting my services to, or maybe I'm conducting a webinar to attract the customers. This kind of prospecting is called offline lead generation. And yeah, to start cold emailing, we need few things, and make sure we have to define some guidelines to do the cold emailing. So the primary technique, as I told you, since the inception of internet, this cold emailing technique has been so far successful method for lead generation. So to do the cold emailing, what do we need first? We have to define our ICP. I'll talk more about ICP later. ICP stands for Ideal Customer Profile. With respect to the services that you offer, first of all, yeah, we have to understand and we have to uh, the service with respect to the services, what kind of a customers that we are looking for, what are our targeted people, what are the targeted organizations that we have to go. This is what we have to define initially, and also we have to build a prospects database, and we have to create an email content where we have to reach out to these built database, and Also, we have to identify a suitable subject line to open the email that we sent. So these are the primary aspects of the cold emailing what we need. And yeah, to to build an ideal customer profile. So yeah, what is an ideal customer profile? So ideal customer profile is nothing but who your target is, who are you going to target, and who is your possibly potential customer. You have to identify that. So this is what is an ideal customer profile. So the key elements of ideal customer profile is, so let's say, for example, the Roundsquare. In Roundsquare, we offer model validation services. So who is our customer for these model validation services? So who do we actually reach out to explain or talk about these model validation services? I'll give you an example. So last time since we started this model validation services at Roundsquare, so we have identified some of the banks. They already have implemented these machine learning services, and since they already implemented the machine learning services, but they have some roadblocks for them to get the desired outcomes. Since from they might have been already implemented this model like 10 years ago, but from past 10 years from now, there have been a lot of policies and rules have been changed, and some of them have modernized their uh, the the maybe the software and everything. So even the customers started thinking about new ways of approaching to these banks and all. So that's why they need this model validation services. They have to validate their model, how they are performing and all. So they have to rebuild that model to the customers of new age. So this is how we serve. We actually try to sell this model validation services to the banks, and then we came together and we have to understand what kind of banks they need these services, model validation services. If we go and offer these services to the small banks, do they accept, or they at least open our email and read it? No, because these small banks, they don't even have an IT services team inside, and they don't even need these ML services. So then we've moved on to mid-size banks. Yes, they have already implemented some kind of models, ML models, like understanding, like if someone applied for a loan, so they'll go through the what there is a process of giving loan, right? So there is a model in ML model already built in place to identify whether you are a right customer for them or not, whether you are a churn to them or not. So these kind of models are already built in place. So that's why we fixed our ideal customer profile to our companies, banks ranging from 50 people to 1,000 people, employee size, and also the revenue, and also, yeah, geography that we fixed was majorly USA. USA has a lot of these banks implemented models, so that's how we choose this ICP. So to choose an ICP, the key elements is company size, revenue, number of employees, and industry and geography. And yeah, any questions so far?
No, sir, it's clear.
Yeah, thank you. So let's talk about prospects more. So the most important aspect of cold emailing is we need to have prospects. So we need to work on target audience and customers, and who are the people who will need our services, our product, or maybe the industry, what industry is needing our services, like what is the person that is going to make decisions to choose our services, and who is the person who is going to buy our services. We have to build a customer base, and we have to identify the right person and right title, exactly the industry that what we are going to reach out to. So I'll give you an example here as well. So we are also offering AI and ML services, right? So we are offering AI and ML services. Let's say, for example, I have to sell a ML service to a financial services industry. So does financial services industry really need ML services, AI services? We have to understand that first. So we have to define the industry where these AI ML services are definitely needed at the moment. And also, once we define the industry as a financial services industry, what kind of companies that we are looking for? Are we going after capital services company, capital companies or mutual funds companies, or what kind of financial services that we are actually looking for? So let's say, for example, there is an app called Cred. People who pay credit card bills over this app, right? So this app is actually built by a lot of AI and ML built in. So these kind of companies that we are looking for. So you have set for the company. So first you have set for the industry as a financial services industry, and you have set for the company, a company like Cred, or maybe the company like Finative, company like Trivago. Trivago is also made out of, it's a travel company. They have implemented AI ML services in it to find the right hotels and other things. So like this, you have to identify the industry and the company. And once we identify the company, who is the person that we have to reach out to? Who is the person we have to sell our services to? Is it a chief executive officer, or is it a chief operating officer? Is it a chief technology officer? Who the person is be? So we have to identify the person, title, and the name. So, and once we identify the industry, company, and the title and the person, then we start building the database of these prospects. So to send our email message to these people, what do we primarily need? Can any of you answer that? What do we need primarily to reach out to these?
Recipient's email address, sir.
And
Recipient email address and the name of the person.
yes, correct. So how do we actually get these email IDs or the contact details of these people?
Sir, there are several tools that we can use to collect their profile, like LinkedIn, Twitter, ZoomInfo, Hunter.io.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Hunter.io is one of the tool where we can extract the email contact details of the person from LinkedIn. But what is the source? Where can we find these people? Where can we find these people? Are they readily available? The database is readily available, or do we have to build our own database?
So we have to build our own database by looking at those tools. Like we can use those tools to build our database, like by our preferences. Like if I want to, sell my like AI product to a company, then I have to look into their like CTO who can deal with, like because we are dealing in B2B. So most of the time CTO and those decision makers, we have to reach out to them. So that's why we have to go through those tools, and we have to find their detailed profile address, mail address, then we have to build our own database.
Correct. Yeah. Right. Partially. So there are the databases readily available also. There are companies like data.org and discovery.org. These companies, they sell database, but we don't use ready-made database because we don't know how valid they are. And yeah, are they really still in the same company or not? So that is why we build our own database. And as you said, LinkedIn is the primary tool for us to identify the people and list down the people. And the secondary tool is Twitter. Nowadays we are using Twitter a lot. People are mostly active on Twitter, and a lot of these decision makers are have different kind of reaching out. So So the main sources for identifying these people is LinkedIn and Twitter. So like you said, Hunter.io and other tools like Snowy. Right now at Roundsquare, we use Snow. Snowy is a tool to find the prospects. Any questions so far?
So I need to know, like, you're told once we have identified which company, how to know who is the correct person to contact.
Yeah. So right now I'll give you an example. So we at Roundsquare we sell AI ML services. Also we sell explainable AI services. So who is no this is, let's put it in another way. So University of Hyderabad, I'm trying to reach out to a person where who can listen to my services, who can actually look into my services. So who is the best person to reach out to me in University of Hyderabad to implement a learning model where you can actually include AML services for you. So when I look at the organization chart, so first I'll go and look at the people who make decisions for IT related decision making. Maybe is there any chief technology officer, or maybe is there any director of technology, or maybe a person who is handling his library. He can make decisions related to these kind of AIML implementation for learning and development models. So we have to narrow it down our search towards who is the best person. So that's how we do here. Or maybe I can give you a better example. So I have to sell these AIML services to a healthcare company, right? So who is the best person for me to reach out to initially? So primarily the CEO of the company is the best person for us to reach out to, and from there we can actually get references from CEO to a different, or maybe internal references from him to a right department, or maybe person who is handling whole technology services decision making, like head of technology, director of technology. Maybe if I have to sell my data science services, so I have to go behind chief data officer, maybe chief data and analytics officers. So these are the examples that we can actually understand who we have to target. Are you clear?
Yes, I got it.
So yeah, it's not there is no unique recipe that we have readily available, but we have to identify, we have to do our research enough to identify these people. So yeah, once we have defined our ICP, we have built our database, and mm, we have actually left with some two other important aspects of emailing. So to do this cold emailing, so now we have the database built and kept it ready. So what we have to do now is we have to build our subject lines exactly, that has to be opened by anybody. It should not be a spamming subject line, like maybe can you buy my services? People definitely they don't open your email at all. So we have to identify the suitable subject line, and also the content that you are giving it to the person. It has to be most relevant to the person that you are sending. So the email content, how do you build? Actually, do you build your own email content, or do you rely on the content writers? So right now at Roundsquare, we our founders they contribute this content, and we pick and choose this content for our email templates, and also the subject lines, the most working subject lines at Roundsquare. We are not going to reveal those subject lines because it's very important for us. It's like a secret sauce for us. So there are some subject lines available in the internet, like can we talk, can we meet, other subject lines. So you have to, so the whole point of this is to make this outreach is you have to choose the content relevant to the person that you are sending, choose the subject line where people can open your email ID at first go. So we don't have 5 minutes, 10 minutes of prospect time for us to actually read all the emails. So first impression or first digital tag for us to open, make sure he opens an email is subject line. So that's how the subject line is very important. Any questions? Do you have any subject lines in your mind? Can discuss here.
Not a particular subject line, but I think it should be unique or like something which makes them click the email ID or something sort of urgency or something like that.
Let's say, for example, put it this way. So I would like to ask you a question. So since we have a different categories of campaigns that we run here, uh, if I am traveling to some city and I would like to meet someone in person, and you're running a campaign on behalf of me, what kind of a subject line that you choose? Can any of you
So,
answer?
so we can use like intensify your institute or your company's AIML services with round square. Then also we can use rounds like, because like I believe like if I say if I explain myself like in a mail subject line, then company might not be interested. I have to generate some interest about my company because they don't know me.
Hmm.
So I believe like subject line should be like that. Like when I saw a mail, subject line has to be like that. Like I have a eager to open that mail, so something beneficial for me.
Yes, yeah. We get in our day-to-day life, we get a lot of these emails coming into our inbox. If you go to Gmail, and there is the inboxes is already separated into different, like there is an inbox, there is an important inbox, there is a social media thing, this and that and so far. So a lot of these subject lines, what we choose, it should not be spamming. So nowadays, in this digital era of emails and all, so there is lot of block like roadblocks for us to reach into a person's inbox. So that's how you have to choose your subject line very crisp, and it should be like readable on mobile phone, and it should be attractive for him, for me to like. Anybody who sends me a promotional email, I never open. So you have to be choosing your subject line that has interest to open up email from another person. So yeah, once we done with this email content and subject line, we start running these email campaigns, we start receiving some responses, and all of that we'll start discussing in next slides. So we need to have a cold emailing strategy. So whatever the content that we send, like a lot of some words like, so I'm offering this, that, and all. So if you throw that content into someone else, that is going to be sitting into their junk. So you have to create a content where there are no junk words or maybe spam words that is there in the content. So that is the primary rule that you should follow in your cold email strategy. And we need to stack, like I said, deck here, but you have to stack the information that is interesting for him. I should not just generally say that, I offer this, I offer that, I offer this, and so on, and he will lose his interest to read his email, read our email. So we have to make sure something that can provoke them to read the whole email, and also the email content. Nowadays, a lot of these, like everyone, we read emails in mobile phones also, so it should be mobile friendly content as well. So that's how you pick and choose your email strategy. And also the types of campaigns that you run, you have to choose. Like, let's say for example, you have to differentiate your campaigns from general campaigns to travel campaigns to like. So when we talk about the database building, I would also like to mention a few words here, like few important things here. So there are a lot of events that are happening out there in the world which are relevant for us, for our services. Let's say, for example, there is a consumer electronic services event is happening out there, and we do IoT services here and mobile app development here. So those people who are actually presented in that event is our potential prospects here. So we have to identify such events and find the database, that email IDs and information for us to run a campaign. So this is how you plan your campaigns, right? One is a one campaign that you start a general campaign that you already built your database, and you have to strategize your campaigns like specific designation you pick. Let's say, for example, I'm selling our data science services. So I choose a chief data scientist, and I collect the database of these chief data scientists from all over the world, and I write a content relevant to them, and I send them in email. So you have to actually have a strategy of email campaigns also. So what type of campaigns you have to run a different types of campaigns, which interest for these strangers to come and know about us. Any questions?
No, sir.
Am
Sir,
I,
sorry, sir. I have a question. When you're sending these mails, do you send it to your personal account or do you send it from a company account? Like, I mean, there is chances that Gmail can mark you as spam, right?
Yes, good question. Actually, we are with Roundscale working as a lead generation. So right now we have to send emails from the Roundscale email ID only. So there are we can have another session on this spamming, how to prevent the spam. So there are hundreds of techniques that we need to follow to avoid this spamming and all. So it's another session that I can actually talk about for 1 or 2 hours. So you have to send your email IDs from your company email ID, and make sure your signature has to be no spamming links. And so always start up with some. When you send bulk emails, use your signature, your email ID, your website URL. Sometimes they corrupt and they go into spam. So you have to always, like every day, maybe every week, you have to check on these corrupted sorry, what do you say, URLs, and you have to rebuild that the signature and content and everything. So that way you avoid spamming. And also your email has to avoid spamming. Mostly you have to pick and choose the content that has much relevant to of the person that we are sending. And also you have to personalize the content. So then you should, even though when you are sending bulk emails, you can just not send hello and your content. You have to send it hello and the person's first name, and start from there. So you have to personalize your email messaging so that we avoid this spamming. Am I clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So, but there are hundreds of filters that are nowadays every company that is implementing to avoid this spamming. But that is a big challenge right now in emailing industry is facing. So we have to create our own paths. We have to be innovative to reach these people's inbox. So yeah, as a strategy we are discussing about, as I mentioned, we have to tailor the message to the recipient. So that message has to be personalized. You need to do your research, whether that email is valid or not. So, and that person that we are reaching out to is more relevant to us or not. So I'm reaching out to University of Hyderabad, one of the professors, and asking him to buy AIML services. Is it relevant for him to at least read an email? Is he respond to he or she is going to respond to my email? Any of you answer that?
Definitely not, sir.
Yeah. In that situation, what he do, he may click on unsubscribe button, or maybe he may report us to spam. So these kind of things will happen when you send emails to non-relevant people. So then your spamming score is going to go high, and then many of your emails or maybe your domain will get blocklisted. So that's why you need to do your primary research whether this person is relevant to me or not. You understand? Any questions?
No, sir. It's clear.
Yeah. And then when you build the database to validate the database, when you build the database, we will not get all the valid emails, right? So there are some actually blocking the email ID collecting, maybe collecting prevention softwares that are available in the industry. A lot of these people, they don't want to get their information to be yeah, collected from. So I don't want to I don't want my email to be collected by you and send an email inappropriate to me, right? So everybody is like that. So we have to validate our database. So whether you got an email, valid email or not. So if you send emails to a valid email, the chances of going into at least reaching, whether it is going to spam or junk or whatever it is, but at least we are going to go into his inbox. But if you are sending it to a non-valid email ID, it is going to bounce. Once you have your bounce rate high, again it is going to affect your domain strength. And once you get affected your domain strength, and all of your emails will go to junk. So that's why you have to validate your database. And also, yeah, once you validate the database, and you have to pick the right content for that database and send an emails to avoid the spamming issues. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll move on to next.
Yes, sir. More.
Yeah, so as I told you, yeah, once you validate the database, elevate your audience's pain and give them the something they want to listen. So it has to be aligned equally. So the person who picked by you is very much relevant to the content that you are sending, and also the content, it should be very short, easy, and actionable. What is actionable here? So once, as soon as he read the email, he should be start looking at our website. You should be actually researching about our company, and maybe it should trigger him to reach back to us and asking for more information. And you should have to be appreciative. Once you once he opens the email and reach out to us, you have to, even for the negative responses, you have to go back and respond them and say, if somebody responded to us saying not interested, you just immediately go say that, my apologies or something. So you have to be appreciative by him. So like that, we need to maximize our responsive strategies. Yeah, as we've been discussing about the strategy, so these subject lines and personalizing content email and specificity and useful of the content to the person we are sending it to. And most important thing here we have to remember is you have to be authentic. You have to be authentic means, when somebody look at your website, the content that you send to your website, and the content that you send to the person on the email, and the content that is there in your website or the blogs, whatever the information, that the information has to be matchable. It has to be aligned. So otherwise people think we are faking it. So the content that you build has to be authentic. And you should not promise in your email messaging that you are not going to help them build. Or maybe let's say, for example, somebody who came to you and asked you about building a website, not a website, maybe building something which is very difficult, and you already promised that these services that I offer can actually give you a solution for that. But once the prospect comes back and ask you about these services, you say no to them. That's a big blocking point for us to move forward. So he will block our domain. Maybe he will talk negative about our company. So you have to promise and promote what you are expect to deliver. Have a clear reason to reach out. So yeah, as I told you earlier, once you define your ICP, so this is why we have to define our ICP. So you have to have a clear reason to reach out to. And when we talk about subject lines, this is your digital calling card. Like when you call somebody, their digital calling card is a phone number. So for us, this subject line is a digital calling card when you are doing cold emailing. So these are the best practices that we need to follow for cold emailing. Do you guys have any questions? Or am I actually making sense to you guys? Or because I cannot see your faces, so I'm just
Yes, sir.
going. Am I making
So,
sense to
sir,
you?
yes, sir. So I have sir, I have a question actually.
Yeah.
So in my internship process, I work for a company where we used to do B2B like lead generation activities. So we used to use that cold email techniques, and like I personally involved during in that process, and like that response rate is very low actually. If we like send hundred of mails, then we might get like 10 to 15 response, and after that like active sales eligible leads is approximately 2 or 3 probably. So that's like very low number if we see the stats, because we are sending 100 plus mails and we are getting only 2 or 3 sales eligible leads.
Yeah.
So
First of all, that's a good question. And first of all, it depends on the region that you are targeting and also the services that you are offering. If these services are very popular, like there is a need for your services, high need for your services, you'll get a lot of responses. And also the subject line may be the primary reason you're not getting many responses. And the most important thing for you to get responses is you have to look for the timings of the prospects. So what time, what geography, which geography you used to target in that company?
sir, for the company, I used to target all over the globe. So, like if I planning to send a mail to North America, then I used to schedule my mail during like night time, like 10 to 11, so that when they can direct open their system, they can first see my mail. So I used to do that for like other region as well. Like if I sending a mail to UK or Australia, then I schedule a mail like that, so that that third person, when you open his or her system, he can directly find my mail in his mailbox in the first priority list. So like we used to do those activities. Even our subject line is very decent, but I don't know why, but we got response, but like lead is very low. But I was saying, like sales eligible leads are very low. Like if you are sending 100 plus, then only 2 or 3 people are sales eligible, like leads are sales eligible lead. So that's why my question is like, there is any other options instead of cold mailing? Because I know cold mail is one of the like best sales best tools for B2B lead generations, but is there any other tools we can use to generate better leads?
So to generate, apart from cold emailing, to generate leads, there are other techniques like you always pick up your phone and talk to the prospect. That is called like phone through via phone calling lead generation or something. But there are few other techniques that are available in the market. But right now, we confine to our cold emailing. So I would like to focus more on this cold emailing, but I can definitely help you. Like there are hundreds of channels available in the in this digital era, right? Like there are Slack channels available where you can actually publicly speaking Slack channels where you can actually log into those Slack channels and then talk about your services and attract some of them who are there, or maybe some of them they post their requirements in the Slack channels, maybe in Medium they talk about. There are there few crowdfunding websites uh, they are available, and Upwork kind of a websites. So there are many other techniques that are available, but right now I'm unable to recollect all of that information because yeah, I can help you next time when we have a session on different maybe the digital marketing lead generation that comes under the digital marketing side of it. So there are different types of lead generation techniques that is there, but you have to do your own research on the internet. So there recently there is a app called Clubhouse that launched. So in that
Yes, sir.
Clubhouse, try to explore that Clubhouse. In the Clubhouse, you find a lot of this group of people, bunch of people who talk about startups, who talk about AI, who talk about ML. So there you can actually participate in those discussions, and then from there you can actually find customers. It's really working.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And also attending webinars where let's say for example what we do at Round Square, we identify the webinars or events that are happening across the globe. We actually join those webinars and and ask these people the question. They some people we can see the decision makers who is appropriate for us to reach out to. We just reach out to them and say hi, messaging them like asking them if you need any help in these services, or what is your quick goals that you are trying to achieve in your IT side of it. What are the pain points that you are going through? So these kind of questions we ask there. We try to attract that person's interest to our services, and from there we take it to again emailing and then prospecting. So that is also another process that we do here. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah. So once we start finish our campaigns and sending out these emails, yeah. Before that, I'll tell you since you asked me this question, and also you told me that you're sending the emails on. So you said 10 p.m. of their time, is it?
No, sir. Like used to send mails in their office time. Like if I'm sending a mail to Canada, then I target their office time. Like their office time usually from 9 to 5. So I used to send mails at their 9:30 a.m. Like it will be like 10:30 or 8:30 from Indian time. So I used to schedule my mail like that. Even for if I'm sending mail to UK or Australia, then I am schedule my mail to at as a time like when they sitting at their system like office, and they are open their system. Then when they go to their office mail IDs, they have to find my email in their first 10 or like 10 or like 5 mail. They have to find my mails. I used to plan or schedule a mail like that.
Yeah, understood. But yeah, so I'll explain you. Do I have time? How much more time do I have?
Yes, sir, we have time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll spend 2 minutes on this because I think it is very important for any lead generation person. So right now we don't have our foot on the ground. Let's say, for example, I'm targeting people from USA, so I don't have foot on the ground, right? Our sales people does. So a lot of this information, what we try to harvest from our sales people. So how the trends is going there, like what kind of trends is happening there. So what is happening there? So we try to collect all of this information from the salesperson who is sitting out there in the ground. So and also we have to think in such a way that we are in a busy world right now. So everybody is busy in some way. So also we have to think if somebody sends me an email, so or maybe what is my email checking timings of myself at the moment. So right now what I do as soon as I wake up, I just check the emails, and I also go through the WhatsApp and other things, and then I put the phone out there, and then I definitely just walk towards the laptop, and I don't open my laptop. Right? Everybody, I assume everybody does the same thing. So Correct, right? You all just open your phone and then see your emails, messages, and everything, right? Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely right. Yeah. So what we try to do is do at round square, and also like me, like you, like anybody else, there are hundreds of people who try to reach out to me to sell your services. So I had to be on top of that stack. So what is the best time for me to be there on his high stack? So I believe, and it worked for us mostly. So we think from the time 6 a.m. to the 7:30. From the time I wake up and I look at the phone, and if I make sense to him to read my email, and he'll give me a response. Or maybe the traveling time, they utilize this traveling time from home to the office. They utilize this time to, I'm not talking about the current situation as COVID is there, before the COVID situation. So they utilize this time to read these emails, is what we assume. So that's why we picked up a window of 6 a.m., or maybe US people, they wake up early. So 5:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. That is the time slot that we send emails the most. So that's how we think we are on top of the whole full stack. So that's why, fortunately, Lalta also knows this, right? She can explain you later. So fortunately, we happen to have receive high response rates, and also the positive responses at the moment. So this is how we follow. And also the other timings that we follow is afternoon of their time. Once they finish their lunch and they have all caught up and finish their office works and all, they will try to clean up their inboxes post lunch, maybe 3 p.m. afterwards, maybe before going to the bed. So this is how we pick the timings. And I'm not saying this is 100% working for everybody else, but fortunately it worked for us. If that answers your question and if that clears your
Yes, sir.
doubt.
Yes, sir.
And also sometimes weekends does work. And nowadays,
Yeah.
there is a trend that people, they don't even look at their inboxes Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Or they just and we've been receiving these kind of responses for so long, and then we try to incorporate that information to do this lead generation. So some of these C-level people, they prioritize this time. They pick one day to clean up this inbox, and they actually go through the emails, whatever. Yeah. So they pick either Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or something. So mostly a lot of these C-level people are picking Wednesday as their email inbox cleaning day right now. Yeah. So now
Yes,
with the
sir. We
COVID.
used to do that the same thing. Like we used to like send mails from Wednesday to Friday. Like most like priority in our priority list, we like say we were sending mail on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Mostly like.
Correct. Yeah. So it's been happening. I think that is the time. So, but since the COVID situation have come, and things have been different from usual, so we have to do different. We have to strategy. Yeah, actually think different strategies for us. So right now we are not following any of those traditional emailing methods. We are actually moving next level, like offering them solution-based campaigns, problem solution-based campaigns. So pick an industry, and then we identify the problems that they face, and we try to give them a solution with that problems. So these kind of new thinking that we have to, yeah. So lead generation is definitely not an easy process. So you have to think out of the box to get successful on it. So yeah, right now, so we'll talk about the responses and how to handle those responses. So once we send the emails, once we blast our email campaigns, we get different kinds of responses, right? We get out of office responses. Some people say, when, yeah, I have listed all of these types of responses here. So I'm just trying to use some of this. So not interested, we have an internal solution already available. I'm not the right guy and don't have the budget for it. If you work with another vendor, So yeah, we have already a vendor in place. So that's why to reduce this negative neutral auto responses anyway, we cannot avoid them. So to reduce these negative and neutral responses, we have to define our ICP correct, and we have to find the right target. And yeah, all of these factors influence here, right? So you have the right prospect, you have the right content, and that person will definitely give you the positive responses. Otherwise you will get all of this negative and neutral responses. So you see, it is pretty basic. You have to have that ICP correct. And also, yeah, one, you have to have that ICP elements right here. So people who respond, we have an internal solution. So how do you respond? And again, you have to have that strategy of responding to these responses. You need to, you should not just ignore these responses. You have to respond to the prospect, whether it is a positive, negative, or neutral. So that way you'll be on the good books of him. Maybe you have to craft a response where he can come back and say, oh, okay, I would like to know more about this, your services or something. So you have to act on the situation, get what they are asking for, provide the information, explain, and then you get a chance to schedule a meeting. So yeah, this is how you handle the responses. Any doubts? Any questions?
So I seen a response in your slide like from where did you get my info? So usually, what reply do you guys give?
So yeah, where do you get my information? So that question, we have to go back to our basics again. So we have done our own research, right? So how do we respond here? I have seen you. So mostly these kind of responses, how do we respond? So I've maybe that person may have written a blog somewhere. Maybe that person have some open positions that is relevant for our services. Maybe that person listed something, some social media presence. So what we have to do is we have to quote that. Let's say, for example, you wrote a blog on LinkedIn, or maybe you respond to some thread in Twitter. So I actually found that you're right prospect for me to reach out to you. So I quote this information, like I quote this. So I found your blog on LinkedIn. So from there I saw that you are the person who is suitable for me to actually talk more about our services. And also I've done my research looking at your website, and I found out that you have chief data scientist open position listed out there in your website. That's how I found your information in LinkedIn. And then you have to connect all of these dots and write a response to me. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's how you have to act. Like sometimes in, yeah, as I told you, you have to be uh, like most truthful and authentic. But sometimes we have to connect the dots and then respond to the person to attract. So yeah, the whole process that we are talking about is attract a stranger. So you have to think about the ways how do you attract this strange person. So this is one of those responses. Can I move on to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, to summarize, yeah, definitely for every organization, lead generation, or maybe especially for the services industry or the product software services industry and the products industry, we definitely need to yeah, have a lead generation team present. And otherwise, how do we know, how do these millions of people know about our services? How does these millions of people, they just typing AI/ML services like me, there are hundreds of companies listed out there, right? So how do we actually reach out to these people, and how, most importantly, how the other person, stranger, should know about our services? So this lead generation is an integral part of your business growth and also the sales success. And generating leads is very difficult. It's not an easy process. We can talk about so many steps that are there. It can be like yeah, can be talk about very easily, but it's a lot of thinking process, lot of research, lot of you have to actually uh, find different ways to attract these people. So unless you have a strong product, you don't need a lead generation person. Like let's say, for example, Amazon, they don't need any lead generation services because they sell different types of goods that they are already popular. Apple, they don't need lead generation services because they are very popular already. And even before that, once you get popular in the market, until then you need to have your lead generation, strategy, and lead generation team should be working on the ground. So one, to get popular in the market. So yeah, hence it all provides the opportunity to stand out from the crowd. So that is what I'm trying to say here. So Apple, they must have been have gone through a lot when the company is incepted, and also when they are trying to reach out to the people. Apple did not actually got popular overnight, right? They might have been have done all of these lead generation strategies, marketing strategies. Since even though they have a strong product in their hand, you have to actually show it to the crowd, and you have to stand out from the crowd. So we should not be one of the millions. We should not be one of the millions in the crowd. So we should stand out that one person above this crowd. Like that, we have to strategize our lead generation. And yeah, as I told you earlier, attract strangers. Those strangers can be your leads, and those leads, once you have given them the right information and attracted them to with your services, he can be your customer. Once he became a customer, you can delight him as a promoter. So once I became a customer, I use, let's say for example, I use an Apple phone. I actually talk more about even Steve Jobs does, because how much I like, that much I like the Apple phone. So that's how your customer is going to be delighted by your services, and he promotes your services. So this is the lead generation overall. I hope I made sense to you all. At least I've gave you guys some information that is useful. And thank you, Lalita, and thank you, others, for the session. If you guys have any questions, you can just ask me.
Yes, sir. Actually, you are told about the call calling. So, uh, there are other methods also to collect data, collect lead information. For example, a paid campaign. So, I need to know whether the paid campaigns are feasible.
So those paid campaigns and all, they come to online lead generation, online marketing, digital marketing and all. I think whether they are useful or not. So yeah, I'll put it this way. We'll talk about that more in next sessions whenever we have this digital marketing session. But there is a new thing that is coming in the industry right now. Account-based marketing, account-based lead generation. So both your lead generation and marketing has to be aligned. Let's say, for example, I'm targeting region where I'm promoting AI/ML services for a manufacturing industry. So the same way in our digital marketing, they should start promoting our content related to this manufacturing industry, and they start promoting that content through online channels, and then that will somehow they both align. So I try to give those links in our email IDs, email messaging and all. So it has to be aligned, the both social media marketing and the email marketing. should be aligned together, and then only you can see the success. Yeah, I don't know. I thought I answered your question, but we can talk about whether that is working or not. We can talk about in next sessions. But
Sure.
it has to be aligned. The both email marketing is, let's say, for example, I'm sending content in an email that is very relevant to University of Hyderabad. The same time, our marketing team should post something related to the same content, which attracts to the University of Hyderabad. So that way, the both are aligned, and then it can give you a better result. So it has to be aligned.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, in the nowadays, not even nowadays, even from since inception of this marketing and lead generation and the stuff, other stuff, people see marketing and lead generation and sales in a different. Uh, they're not together, but overall, it is all together. So as I told you earlier, so marketing has to be aligned with lead generation. The sales people has to align with both lead generation and marketing. Then only the success will come. Yeah, that's everything. Anybody has any questions?
So I have a questions like in B2C, does this cold mail campaign works? Like because I never see in B2C company are using cold mail campaigns. As you mentioned, like Amazon and Apple, they are B2C, right? So I think they don't need to send cold mails to every customer because they already like sending those paid mails. Like we can see those promotional mails using those mail templates, right?
Yeah. So
So
mostly this email marketing let's say, for example, how can I put it this way? I built a sensor where it can detect your heart rate. That I have to sell it to customers, right? So what I can do, I can actually get uh, all, like, whether it is correct email ID or not. We can buy these people's information, right, from Facebook or Twitter or something, or maybe we can build these email IDs database. And also, what you can do, you can just blast out these emails with about your product and all. So at least 5% or 10% of these people, they open your email and see that this product exists. From there, they'll start buying the product, and they'll start promoting your product in different ways, so even mouth to mouth. So it definitely works for yeah, maybe 5 to 10%. I would not say it worked for 100%, but you don't have to continuously do emailing for them. So your website itself is a yeah, people visit your website, and automatically your website, you connected with CRM where they can send out your promotions, websites, and other stuff. So let's say, for example, let's put it this way: Cult is a product, right? Cult Fit, or maybe, yeah, Cult Fit is a product. How do we know? They have actually promoted in digital media also, and they do ads, they do Facebook promotions, Twitter promotions, and everything. But still, they do send email for us to notify their promotions, right? That's how it works. Yeah, are you clear? Am I making sense?
yes, sir. Yes, I got it.
Yeah. So yeah, still definitely, even if you're doing any kind of promotion, that emailing is always worth for any kind of lead generation. Whether I'm subscribing to Cult Pass or not, but I'm actually getting that email to my mobile and I get to read it, right? So that's how it works.
Also, sir, what about video marketing? Like, because nowadays we can see like most of those top executive, they are also spending their times in Twitter and Instagram as well. So like 30-second, 15-second videos. Companies, I saw like lots of like companies who involve mostly deal in B2B, they are building those like 30-second, 15-second videos, and they are promoting their brand in LinkedIn, Twitter and Instagram. I saw that like is it someday it will replace like cold email campaign, or it will coexist with cold email?
In my
Because
opinion,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead,
yes.
go ahead.
So I was asking, sir, like as my experience with cold mail, positive, yeah, used to get lots of response, like neutral, auto, like we are not counting that automatic response, like a neutral response, negative response, even positive response. You used to get lot of response, but still, like if we go to number, then like sending mails and getting response are like comparatively very low. But if we are using those tools like video marketing and those tools, like they in those places, like response rate are very high, because when someone click that video, we can get his detail, like personal IDs and everything. Like as you said, like you identify proper customer, proper like client is more important in B2B. So if we promote ourselves in those tools, then it's very high that we get a like proper person who is able to take those decisions for that company. We can directly contact with him. So
Yeah,
that's what.
understood your question, but I would say, in my opinion, all of my experience, nothing is going to replace email lead generation, and it is going to be forever. Even though other techniques are going to be work more better than this, but email campaigns, email lead generation is going to be there forever. Yeah, it will be there. Nothing is going to
Okay, sir.
replace any soon. Maybe,
Okay, sir.
yeah, video content for IT services industry, that video content, whatever that we make, we don't get immediate results as we see in email lead generation, cold emailing generation. And this cold calling is completely dead. People, we don't get their direct numbers right now. Even if we get numbers, they don't pick up the phone. Uh, yeah, how many of
That's
you?
true, sir. It's hard. That's true, sir. Even my previous company, they never use like cold calling. Like they only into beat like cold emailing and those video content marketing, and like webinar conducting and everything. So that's why like my question is like, even in when someone contact webinar, then also like getting they
Yeah.
somehow might get like
So
better
I'll tell you,
response.
this right here. Rubjot, right? Rubjyoti, is it? How do I
Yes,
say?
sir. It's Rupjyoti. Yeah, yes, sir. You can call me
Rubjyoti.
Rup.
I'll tell you this. Even if we get information of a prospect from video promotion or something, again you have to come back to an email. You have to put together a PPT. You have to put together a deck. You have to put together information. You have to send an email to that person. So emails, prospecting, email sending, email, even some of this sales will close through the email processes only. So this is going to be there forever. And yeah, that is my conclusion actually. This is
Yeah,
going to be
that's true.
forever. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So I got a question like, yeah, I understood that email is powerful, but we have been putting so much time and so much work for that. And so in terms of the scalability and also like getting a faster call to action. So how does that works with the email?
So with the emailing now, a lot of these companies, they are doing maybe manual emailing or manual stuff and all, but right now at Round Square we are automating the whole of this process. So once you do the automation, if you implement AI ML in this process, you will definitely see good results. Right now, what we are trying to implement here is, personally, I'm actually very much interested in this, and I'm doing this. So once I define your ICP, so the system you have in place should actually understand these keywords and bring the prospects to the CRM, and then customize the email to these people, customize email according to that people, and also it should analyze the responses that you are getting. So there is a lot of factors that influence your response rate and positivity and closures, right? So we have to understand this data over the years what we send emails. We have to define our problem statement where we should get our ROI is correct. So I'll explain you in detail. So we need a customer. We have to start analyzing what is our customer, what is the recent prospect that we close, which industry he belongs to, what title he is there, what time he opened our email, what kind of an email he responded to, what kind of a campaign that response came from, and also what kind of a keywords that triggered him to actually respond to us. We have to analyze all of this information, give it to the tool will automatically bring that information and give it to giving it to us to reach out to the same kind of people, and our rate is going to be much higher than before. That is how we have to think moving forward. So this automation has to work.
Got it. Got it.
The automation as in like Salesforce CRM tools, and do you like any other tool? Like as I know, like if we use Mailchimp or content to send mails, then like most of the time those mails directly goes to spam. Like
Yeah, though I'm not talking about Salesforce or this. Yeah, they only use for you to actually see whether your prospect is moving to next level or not. You're not sending any emails through Salesforce or not. I'm not talking about such kind of services. I'm talking about intelligent automation, where we can actually identify our ideal ICP customers and reach out to those people with customized content and all. So that CRMs and all that just for you to maintain your database. But here we are analyzing the data. We are making this data to give us the uh, quick closures. This is an intelligent automation that I'm talking about.
okay, sir. Also, sir, I would like to ask a question. It might be like like company privacy policy, but you like I want to know that answer. Like if you can, like, is it okay to like you can avoid that question as well. So my question is like if I am sending cold mail to a like potential client or a lead, like how can I able to know that he opened my mail or not? Like I followed that lead, like I followed that ICP for two or three with two or three mails, but
Okay,
I'm not getting any response.
understood your question, but there are few tools available where we can see, but that's not actually in industry standard policy to know whether he opened or not. But there are tools available, extensions available, where you can see he opened it or not. But man, like in our Outlook, we don't get to see, or maybe in Gmail, we don't get to see directly. But you have to rely on the third party companies where they have provide these services. They offer these
And
services.
that's what my question is, because like when we send mail using Google Mail or like Outlook Mail or anything, like we can't know like either person, third person open my mail or not. Like sometimes we send two or three mails, but if we didn't get
There
response, like
are,
we just leave that mail.
as I told you, right now we use a tool called Snow, SNOV Snow, that actually tracks your Gmail inbox. And also there is another tool called Mailshake that will also give you this information. And actually, a lot of this, when you talk about automation, we don't send emails bulk by Outlook. We have to subscribe to a third-party email campaign solutions like Mailshake. You type the mail check in Google and try to explore it, where we can see actually how many people have opened our emails, how many people responded, what kind of responses that we get. Did he click the link or not? Yeah, example is Mailchimp. Go and check out the Mailchimp.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yes, no.
Thanks a lot, sir.
And also there are 100 bunch of other tools available, very expensive tools. Yeah. Okay. Are we good? And
Yes, I
actually,
got to
yeah,
know
I would
more
like to ask
information.
you. Yeah, I would like to ask you guys few funny questions. If you can answer me. So you guys are all aware of marketing, well aware, right?
Yes, sir.
Uh, and so, any of your family members are already in the marketing, sales and marketing field?
No, sir.
Any of you observed, any couple who married in the in the same marketing field? Do you think the couples get married in the same marketing field is going to last long?
I know like one of my friend, like his
He
girlfriend
got
is from same department, not married exactly. They are like his fiance. So,
yeah. Actually, the trending maybe the what we call it as in marketing. Those two people they weren't from the same landing page, so they don't get married so quickly. That's how we talk. I don't think you guys understood, but yeah, I'm trying to make. And how many of you actually go for live concert, music concerts and all?
so
You
before COVID, I used to visit, but now it's like not possible.
so do you actually see the live musicals? Like many of the, I'm actually talking about core marketers. I'm talking about. So these marketers, they can't see live musicals all the times. You know what they do when they go to live concerts and all? They keep trying to capture the leads. So this is how you should for any marketer. There is no life for them, right? It's always about leads, capturing leads, generating revenue. Yeah, that how passionate you should be if you are trying to choose this as a career, right?
So even though it's passionate, do you think once in a time it feels stressful?
It is always stressful. Definitely, every day it's stressful. So if yeah, it is stressful, but you have to innovate yourself. But it always gives you a pleasure where you can think beyond what others are thinking. So
That's true,
that's
sir.
when
Also, sir.
yeah.
Yeah. Sir, also, sir, one more thing, like I would like to add here, like when you got a lead, like after sending a few mails, it's very like pleasure. Like it's a very joyful moment when you got a good positive response, and when you convert that response to a sales eligible leads, then it's very makes sense. Like in my previous company where I was doing internship, I generate couple of leads, like approximately 5 or 6 leads, and those leads are currently like their client become the deal, like those are like $1 million deals probably. But yeah, like it's very like like that time you feel very joyful, like yeah, I did something, like at least after sending 100 or 200 mails, at least I got five like client for my company. So that give a joy, like a piece of happiness for that moment.
End of the day, sales and marketing is all about numbers, right? When you have numbers, you have peace. When you don't have numbers, you don't have peace. So yeah, that's how it works.
That's true.
Whenever you get your numbers, you'll be like happy. Otherwise, we have to work more, yeah, to get those numbers. Yeah, it is always there. Every profession has their own pros and cons. Some people like to, yeah, uh, be stressful and then innovative. So when you feel stressful at your work, not for the other things, when you yeah are stressful in your own thinking of in your own work in your own space, people say that you will awaken your whole new neurons in your brain. So that will actually gives us strength to open up our brains to next level. So sometimes stress is also good. That's my opinion. I'm not putting it to others. That's my opinion. Okay.
So thank you so much for those beautiful insights. Like it's really add some values in, like, in my point of view. If you ask me, like, yeah, I have a prior knowledge in like I have a prior experience in B2B lead generation, but it add more values in those experience. Like it will help me in further, like if
Thank you very much. So, as I said earlier in my introductions, I'm not here to teach you guys. I'm here to give you experience, share my experience, share my knowledge. So, thank you, all of you, so patient and listening to me. And if any of you wants any internship or anything, please reach out to me. I think one of you guys have my email ID. So, please reach out to me. We can consider that as well. So, we've been trying.
Sure.
Yeah.
sure, sir.
Thank you so
Thanks a
much.
lot, sir.
Yeah. Thanks a
Thank you,
lot.
sir.
So,
Thank you,
can I
sir.
take it as a wind up?
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Like, got so much knowledge, so much insight. Like, rather than reading in some articles or something, from getting knowledge from the real person, it's great always.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys made my day. Thanks, Rod. It's pleasure for me to also. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day, sir. Thank you.
You guys too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Bye.